All right, everybody, welcome back to the Aptitude Outdoors podcast. Thanks for tuning back in. Today I'm talking about river fishing for smallmouth bass.
This is the Aptitude Outdoors podcast, where we interview conservationists, hunters, anglers, and outdoorsmen and women to bring you the greatest stories, information, and advice from the best in the world.
So recently, my brother got into river fishing. I've never been really big into river fishing. There is a river where I live called the Maumee River, loaded up with fish. It's one of those things that it's far enough away that it's kind of a pain in the butt to get to, so I don't go there very often. But if I have an excuse to go, I will go. And I went out there the other day. He had caught a couple smallmouth just screwing around. And I knew there were smallmouth in the river. I just never went out to try and find them. So coincidentally, I'd also been reading a book about smallmouth from In Fisherman, because tomorrow I'm going on a fly fishing trip for smallmouth up in Michigan, which hopefully the weather holds out and I can get to go. If not, probably reschedule that. But I've been really liking fishing for smallmouth lately. I don't know why. So I grabbed a bait caster rod, box of crankbaits, and met my brother at the river after work and just wanted to see what happens. So a few of the basics that I've read and learned about river fishing just through the literature I've been poring over is you want your bait to look natural. You want it to move with the flow of the river. And so I try to take all this stuff into account when I was out there. I mean, just these little basic tidbits of knowledge can help you catch more fish. I know because I just did it, and I'm no world-class fisherman or anything. So luckily right now the river's pretty low, so it's easy to find spots where the water gets deeper because you're wading in it. So it drops off and you fall in the water. It's pretty easy to find those spots. So we went to a boat ramp. The Maumee River has a pretty hard rocky bottom most of the time. And walking along the edge there, and I just kind of waded into the river to where it fell off. And the one spot I was fishing, there's a ledge that goes all the way across the river that's really shallow. I mean, ankle deep, calf deep, and the river's flowing towards me. So we go up there, and I'm casting towards this bridge where the boat ramp's under, reeling, crankbaits, and I'm having crankbaits that they're smaller and they dive about 2 to 5 feet. So they're smacking along the bottom, hitting rocks, tick, 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 tick. And I caught a pretty decent sized smallmouth doing that. My brother caught one, but most surprising is the variety of fish that I caught on crankbaits in the river. I caught catfish on a crankbait. I caught walleye on a crankbait. I caught white bass on a crankbait. Obviously, I caught smallmouth on the crankbait. And it was just, I know those fish are in there. The area I live is one of the walleye capitals of the world. They breed from Lake Erie in these rivers excessively. And I don't know why it never crossed my mind that I'd catch one, but you don't think of, at least around me, everybody fishes walleye with jigs, so you just don't think about catching them on crankbait. And unfortunately, I had my first hook through the finger experience. Wasn't that bad. I mean, it sucked at the time, but now it's been 2 days, and you can barely even tell that it went through the finger. But yeah, that was not fun. I was trying to be careful. I forgot my pliers in the car, of course. When I go fishing, I get super excited, and I just run out to the river or the lake or whatever, and I forget half my shit, always, without fail. And I'm out there, and I have the walleye in one hand, and they have sharp teeth, so I don't want to stick my hand in his mouth to get the lure out. So I go to grab the top of the crankbait, and as soon as I do put my fingers near the crankbait, he shakes his head really hard, and he was a decent sized walleye. It wasn't world class or anything, and the hook just swings up and goes all the way through my pinky, and I'm like, well, now have the fish in one hand and the hook in the other, so I'm pretty much pegged to the fish. I don't have pliers on me, so I'm thinking, like, how can I get this out? And luckily my brother had a pair of pliers on him, so I push it through all the way. The tip was just coming out of the top of my finger just a little bit. It was pretty deep under the skin. And so I pushed it through, We cut the barb off, pulled it back through, and good, fish the rest of the day. It has not given me any problem since. I've just been keeping Neosporin on it obviously, and I don't have any problems. So whatever. Enough of that. It sucked. That's my first time. 34 years. Never had that happen. Every dog has his day, I suppose. So kept fishing for the rest of the day. I think I caught 3 more smallmouth or 2 more. I can't remember. 2 or 3. My brother caught one. My wife almost got one. She got it up to the shore and it got off right when she went to pick it up, which always sucks. So they are fun fish to catch, and fighting them on crankbaits with fairly light bait caster rods. They weren't super heavy. I think they were mediums, or I think they're medium rods. They're just those combos you can get at Bass Pro. I think my brother had like a Ozark Trails Walmart one, and I had the Bass Pro. I had 2. I had the Bill Dance rod, the Bill Dance bait caster combo, the special edition Bill Dance bait caster combo, which I was at iCast last week and I did get to meet Bill Dance, which is really sweet. Got a cool signed hat up here behind me now, idol of mine. And so I have that rod, and I had a Bass Pro whatever generic combo bait caster I bought my wife. She still hasn't kind of wrapped her head around that, so I'm just using it when she's not, which, essentially my rod now anyway. But ripping crankbaits on that, and it went really well. I was just surprised the amount of smallmouth we caught, because earlier in the day I was talking to a guy at the gym, and we just happened to talk about fishing. If you know me, you're going to end up talking with me about fishing. That's just how it works. That's the only thing I talk about, that or hunting or going outside. So he's like, yeah, I've been fishing the Maumee River for years. I don't think there's any smallmouth in there. I've never caught one. And so I was like, I've seen people catch them in the Maumee like tons of times on Instagram and stuff. So I went out there to catch smallmouth, again, using that knowledge of largemouth bass fishing, knowing that they have similar, which I talked about in the Lake Erie episode of catching smallmouth, fishing kind of the slower water where the river kind of slows down, stuff along that nature, and was able to make it happen. One of them was decent size. The other 2 or 3 I caught, I think it was 2, were smallmouth, and then my brother caught a pretty good size one too for the river. So I was pretty excited about that. We'll definitely be going out and doing more river fishing now. I'll probably bust the kayak out and go find some places and pull the kayak up on shore and wade fish where it's not too deep. And if you have a river near you and you live in pretty much at this point, smallmouth are damn near about everywhere, but they're pretty common up here compared to like down south in Texas or something. They're not as common, but they do have them. They are a fun fish. They do really, really fight pretty hard, and especially the bigger ones, like the one I caught in Lake Erie, they fought. Feels like you're reeling in a dump truck. So go out. It's always fun to target a new species. I like reading a book. I'll read a book on a new species. I'll find some obscure thing on the internet and I'll read it. I'll take some notes, and then I'll go out and put that into action and try and catch this one specific species. And I'm telling you, it works pretty well. Like, I've had good success. I've caught every species that I've targeted so far in all the books I've read. Pike, largemouth, obviously, probably the easier of the catch, smallmouth, panfish, all this stuff. You can do it. It just takes a little bit of research. And once you know where the fish should be and how they operate, your success rate goes up exponentially. I know a lot of people, and I talk about this with my friends all the time. I talk about this with people that I know that are great fishermen. A lot of people go out and they fish, but they do the same thing every time. And there's so many variables in fishing that change day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute, that you have to switch up your style every once in a while. You can't just throw the same jig for 30 years and expect to get, world-class results. So keep that in mind too. Always be switching stuff up. Always go out and try and make, changes to your fishing style or pattern. If things aren't working, try different crankbaits, try different colors, try different depths, all that stuff. Even you have to change your lure every 5 minutes. So keep that in mind. Hope you can get out there, go fish, go catch the fish of your dreams. Even if you got to start small, it's always worth it in the end. So I hope you enjoy this podcast. Got tons more stuff coming at you. forever and ever. So I hope you guys will stick around, and thanks for listening. I'll be back soon with another episode. Hey, thanks for listening to the Aptitude Outdoors podcast. If you're getting anything out of this, if you're learning something, if it's helped you in any way, go down in the link below and buy me a coffee. Throw me $1, throw me $2. We greatly appreciate it. Just using it to keep this ship afloat. So thank you very much.